goodbye. For a cancer patient, that word has two very different meanings. That's why when we've done everything we can, we do things nobody's done before.
I did it, Mom.
At the Christ Hospital Health Network, we collaborate with Dana-Farber Brigham Cancer Center to offer next-level care, developed by the world's best minds. Treatment that could change your odds. Or maybe the world. The Christ Hospital Health Network. Everything it takes.
The Pound This Podcast is brought to you by the Christ Hospital Health Network. This is the Pound This Podcast, episode 813, Amanda's Diary. Binge eating.
I want to lose weight, but I don't know how to get started.
What should I meal prep every week?
How do I get those sweet booty gains?
Inspiration for your healthy lifestyle. The Pound This Podcast with Amanda Valentine.
What up, homies? Thank you so much for listening to the Pound This Podcast. I am Amanda Valentine, and this is my diary. Ooh, scandalous. Not really. So in this episode, I'm basically going to catch you up on everything going on with me, which there is a lot. So if you really don't care about what is going on in my personal life, then don't listen to this episode. Or if you're like, ooh, I bet there's some juicy drama in there because Amanda has had a butt ton of stuff going on, well, then feel free to be a voyeur and listen, because I'm going to tell you as much as I feel like telling the public about what is going on in my life. And I looked up the last time I did a diary episode was September 26th, 2022. And it is currently April 2023. And yeah, a lot has changed since then. A lot in my own health and wellness journey, a lot in my career, a lot in relationships, a lot where I'm going to live. Like literally everything is changing. So I guess I'll get to the health and wellness part here in a second. But just kind of to be where I'm at. So, I got divorced last year after being in an 18-year relationship with my ex-husband. So that was big and life-changing, and obviously still feeling after effects of that. And dating is its own interesting little animal. That should be its own podcast. I'm like, oh my God, I haven't dated since 2003. And obviously the world has changed then. And I have changed a lot. And yeah, men are interesting. What an interesting experience it has been so far. Not that there's been a ton, but the few have been impactful. I will leave it at that. But if you know some single hot sugar daddy, just let me know also. That would be cool. Anyway, so there's that. And part of that is I am now selling my house. So if you are interested in moving to the west side of Cincinnati, please let me know. I'm going to put my house on the market after I can find a house, which is proving to be impossible and like knife fight bloodbath in the streets to get a home. And obviously my budget is not so big. It's just me. And I'm like in Bridesmaids where I'm like, help me, I'm poor. So I don't have a huge budget and the housing market is bananas. To give you an example, just this week, saw a house. I'm like, this house is awesome. Has so many things that I really want. And it's like perfect for like one person. This house was like 800 square feet. Like it's not a big house. It went on the market in the morning. I saw it that afternoon. We put in an offer that night. The next morning went into a bidding war. I was willing to go up to $26,000 over asking, and I lost. So within like a whole 24-hour span, this all happened. So they put the house on the market. It sold for who knows what ungodly amount of money above asking. And I'm sure inspections were waived and stuff like that too, which is something I'm not willing to do. If you're in the Cincinnati area, you're going to understand what I'm talking about. If you're not, you're just like, I don't really care about the Cincinnati housing market, Amanda. But I am looking to move to the east side of Cincinnati because I'm also starting a new job. So I have been working for the YMCA since last summer, and this week is my last week working for the YMCA. The YMCA has been great, but I have an opportunity that I'm very hyped about, and more Cincinnati things, but I'm going to be working at the Cincinnati Nature Center, which is on the east side of town. If you're unaware of the Cincinnati Nature Center and you're in Cincinnati, it's outside of Milford. And highly recommend you come out there and do some hiking. So if you're going to come out to the Nature Center, there's lots of cool stuff going on. By the end of April, I'll be there and I'll be training and stuff like that. So if you're around, hit me up on Instagram. You can pound this and like maybe we can go for a hike or say hi or something. So I'm very excited to spend more time out in the woods. Because if you have listened to me for a long time or you know me, just a big nature lover, and so much of being outside and hiking has been so much part of my health and wellness journey, my weight loss journey. When I went on my weight loss journey, my health journey as a New Year's resolution in 2012, I started just by walking. I did not have a gym membership. I love walking. Walking is still my favorite, walking and hiking. So I was walking, and then walking turned into running, which turned into hiking. I hiked all the time when I lived in Oregon. I hiked almost every single day. I was out in the woods. I was a Pacific Crest Trail volunteer. I still hike all the time in Cincinnati. All of my vacations tend to be all about hiking. Oh, sorry. My chair just hit my race medals. Speaking of all the running and all the crap that I do. So it's like, and it's such great mental health for me just to be outside. Like I just went for a run just now because that's a whole nother thing of getting back into running, which I'm going to talk about here too, because that's another update. But I like running outside. I just love being outside and being in nature. So I'm very excited to be able to have a job where I get to support nature and be out in it more. And I'll fill you guys more in on that as I get the job started and figure out what I'm doing. But very hyped for that opportunity to work on health and wellness and stuff like that in nature. So nature has so many benefits, and I'm sure I'm going to do more episodes talking about that. So I don't need to go into all of that right now, but very hyped about that. So selling the house, looking for a new house, just got a new job, searching for new relationships, doing all of those things. And then, oh my God, what else is there? Yeah, I'm getting back into running. So, I'm not trying to, I miss it. So I did so much running before after I did Couch to 5K. Shout out to the Chubby Jones podcast, which is fun because I listened to that in 2012 when I was starting to run, and I'm going back and listening to these old episodes and like hearing her introduce the music of like time. She's like, this is a new song from Keisha and the S is a $. I'm like, it's Kesha. You don't know yet. But it's so fun because like I had to get out of running because my knees were so janky. And honestly, I was just way, way, way over exercising at the time. So I have not run since 2018. So I've really just gotten completely out of a fitness routine. I'll be completely honest with you. I have not been exercising. I've been walking, so I can't give myself some credit here. I'm walking and I'm starting to run again. So yeah, I'm exercising. I'm trying not to be a butthole, but like I'm not strength training. I don't have a regular routine. I'm not going to a gym. And even though I work at the Y, I'm not working out at the Y. I was swimming at the Y, and last time I got strep throat and I got sick, which I kept getting sick like every month. At the Y, that I'm like, it just kind of really knocked me on my ass and I got me out of the pool and I just like did not get back in. That's on me. So I have not had a regular fitness routine in a long time, and I could feel it. It makes me feel nuts. Like I don't feel good in my body. So it's been nice to been doing Couch to 5K, even though I haven't been doing that on a regular basis either. Real talk. I'm doing the best that I can with all the crap going on, which I don't want to keep using as an excuse. But so far, the janky knees have been holding up. The running has been feeling good. Not that I'm running fast at all. I don't even care. And I'm not running to lose weight. I am not running to get fast. I am running to move my body and enjoy being outside. And I enjoy listening to the Chubby Jones podcast. So I'm doing it because I enjoy all of those things. And that's been going good. Here in Cincinnati, the Flying Pig is coming up in about a month. Use code Amanda23 to save 10% on any race. Wink. And I was aggressive and signed up for the 3-way, which is the 5K, 10K, and the half. So planning on hopefully running the 5K, walking the 10K immediately afterwards, and walking the half because I like walking the half. So, and also just a heads up too, like if you've ever not done any of those races, like you can walk them. Like they're super fun. Obviously biased to the pig, but I've done these races all over the country because I've lived all over the place. And it's just such a vibe. So it's like, if you want to do a race, also just find a race that's like a vibe, like a color run. Like, I don't know if those are still a thing, but like those like fun races, like that are just like fun. Like those are just always so great just to like, just walk them, like just walk and just go to enjoy yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to be racing. You don't have to like be trying to like kick anybody's ass except your own if you want to. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, yeah, so that's been going good. I'm hoping to start going to Trilogy and get a regular fitness routine. Matt's been on this podcast several times. Currently with where I live, I'm going to have to like cut past his gym anyway to go to the nature center. So I really want to get a routine and get back into strength training. And I love everything that Trilogy does. So that feels really good. Next week I'm on vacation in between jobs. So, I'm going to try to set up an appointment to go out there and set up a routine to get back into the gym, back to strength training because I love feeling strong. And where my head's at with all this stuff now too is like, I'm so far removed from weight loss right now. Like it's such an interesting space because my whole life has been so centered around you got to lose weight or losing weight, or I did lose weight and maintaining weight loss. And I don't know if it's just the midlife crisis. I would prefer to say the existential crisis because it feels more existential than just like midlife, even though I am 40. That I've been going through and all of these like massive changes that I've been going through. But it's just been like, there's no part of me that's like, there is a part of me where I'm like, oh, my clothes are tight. Ew, I kind of feel like a trash bag full of nacho cheese. I'm not feeling the best, but it's not like, well, I have to lose weight. It's like, no, I need to start doing crap to feel good. And I have been in that headspace before. And it was also at just a very tumultuous, whatever, you know what that word means. I just can't say it right now. Turbulent time of my life. I guess that's my cycle of just trying to get back. And I'm like, I know I need routines. I work good in routines. I like community. I want the community of a gym. So, that's part of the plan is to like work that into my routine. At least that's what I'm hoping to do. There's been plenty of times on this podcast where I'm like, this is my plan and this is what I'm going to do. And then I like end up not doing it because guess what? We all do that and that's life. And so we should stop terrorizing ourselves for doing that because it's how it works, because life is crazy and we're just doing the best that we can. Right? That's where I'm like, exactly where I'm like, oh, I've been so crappy. I'm not exercising at all. I'm like, I say that as I just went for a freaking run. Like, why am I not giving myself credit for exercising? I just went for a run. Damn it, Amanda. So it's like stuff like that of like, you just got to like step back for a minute and like listen to yourself and be like, is this right? Am I being stupid about this? Am I being unfair? So, and then my food, I've been doing clean eats. So that's been so incredibly helpful, especially like through divorce. I'm like, I just did not feel like meal prepping. And there's a part of me that's like feeling the kind of the vibe to like want to meal prep again. Which I know that so many people miss me doing my meal prep Sunday on Instagram, which is very sweet. And I really appreciate that. And then I try not to feel guilty for not doing something that like I know people enjoy watching of like me having fun meal prepping, but it just hasn't felt like something fun for me. And I'm not interested in faking something for the internet. Like I don't want to just do it and fake it and act like I'm having an awesome time when I'm really crying. So that's just not me. I'm not trying to be a fake influencer because I don't want to do that at all. And I haven't really done too much social media, hardly at all, at least I feel like, or compared to what I used to, because it's just like, if I don't feel like doing it, I'm not going to do it. I'd rather just do nothing than be fake. And that's just who I am. Like, I just don't want to be a clown for Instagram when I'm like not feeling it. And And then I've just been more like focusing on being present in my own life too. Like I just like trying to be like, I don't want to have to just take my phone out the whole time. Which I definitely have been like very cognizant of, which I am with like anytime I'm in person with somebody, with my friends, or even definitely like dating, of like, I don't want to be checking my phone. Like I want to be present. I want to be right here. I don't need to document this experience. So I'm like, I've done really cool things, but they don't go on the internet, or I've hung out with really cool people and it doesn't always go on the internet. And I feel like I was in a headspace before. I feel like, I don't know, it kind of feels like we're all kind of there. Maybe, I don't think it's just me. I think maybe when like the internet was a little bit newer, back in the days when the internet was brand new, but you know what I mean? Not even that long ago, like a few years ago when Instagram was, everybody just posting a picture of their like plate of spaghetti and not trying to like pose, that it just felt like more fun and more, I guess, more natural. I don't know. It just doesn't feel as fun for me anymore. Anyway, that's where my headspace is with that. So, yeah, Clean Eats has been great of getting my meal prep and then just having that prepped out throughout the day. And I'm going to continue to do that. Also, I will say I won the Clean Eats We Change Lives Challenge here in Cincinnati, which is awesome. So I get 3 months of free meals, which I am giving all of them away on Instagram. So every week I'm going to be giving away 5 meals. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, you should, because free food opportunities, because I would rather give those away and have somebody else have that experience and have some free meals and have like life be a little bit easier, because it's helped me a lot and I hope it helps somebody else. So you can follow me on Instagram at You Can Pound This. And I'm starting to do that starting at the time that this is being posted next week. So, yeah, so April, May, I don't know how, 12 weeks, 3 months, whatever. You do that math. I'm not mathing right now. Even though it's super simple math, whatever. So that's what's going on with that. And that's where, yeah, I haven't even gotten on a scale. I definitely don't want to right now. And I don't know, I'm just not in the headspace for that. I've just like, it's so funny because I've been so meticulous for so long of like weighing and measuring all my food. And I like love all those things. And I want to give no impression at all that I'm even hinting that those things suck or I'm against them. I just in a season right now where I'm like, I just don't feel like doing it right now. And I'm not going to tell myself I'm like a bad person for not doing it. So I know it'll come back just because everything does come back in cycles, but I'm not really counting macros or calories and definitely not getting on the scale. Last time I got on the scale, it was probably late summer last year, maybe. So I don't even want to know. And I feel like I just have a hunch too that because I have Hashimoto's disease and I have a hunch that it might be going into hypothyroidism because I feel like some symptoms are getting worse, but I'm also not going gluten-free and taking care of myself the way that I should. So that's on me too. But I'm trying to get into a new primary care physician at Christ Hospital and hopefully get another meeting with an endocrinologist to do like all my labs again and see if I'm going to have to go on like hormone therapy and stuff like that. Because last time I did all those labs when we found out I have Hashimoto's was 2020. So obviously that's been a minute. And obviously I've been through a stupid amount of stress since then of not only like career changes, relationship changes. Now I got to move, but also a global pandemic. Yeah, we just slid that one in there too, that I think that we're all like still trying to recover from. So yeah, dang, it's just been like a lot of stuff. I've just been doing so much meditating, so much self-work, a lot of therapy. Yeah, just like working through my crap. And I will definitely say by going on dates and meeting people in that capacity has also just been a very highlight to things about me, and learning a lot about myself. So I feel like that's helped me learn about me more and how I show up and, my behaviors in the past and stuff like that. That's just been, it's been, interesting. So yeah, it's just been a lot of stuff going on. in this moment, feeling pretty good. Like it feels, I feel like for me in my midlife existential crisis, like I'm just getting to like the next chapter going is how it kind of feels. Like I'm just like figuring out who this person is now. And if you know me in my personal life, you've heard me say this like a bunch of times, that I'm like learning who this version of me is. This version of me is very different than every other version of me. And I was actually just talking to my friend Lindsay this morning about how I'm like, I feel kind of nuts sometimes. I'm like, because I'm trying to learn how to slow down. Like I've been such a 1,000 miles per hour, crazy hustler, overachiever, and I've been going to get rid of that completely, but I'm like, I want to have more peace in my life. I want to have more chill. And I even as I'm doing that now and I have like more free time, like I don't know what to do with myself because I'm not used to having free time. And so, that's been a growth opportunity too of like, God, how do you just like slow down and like, I mean, I could go all into the therapy things of like, you had to run to survive, but now you don't need to run anymore and all this other crap. But like, it's hard to slow down whenever you just like, that's a way for me to numb out and distract myself. Oh, and speaking of brutal honesty, I have been binge eating, which I'm not hyped about. And it's been interesting to go through because I've battled with binge eating disorder for a really long time. And it's not like it's ever gone away. I've definitely had a really good management on it. But, I would say, I think it's just this really like high emotions of things going on and also having more free time to fidget, that having like high emotions and having like emotional crash at the end of the day. And then, but also like not having like a ton of work to do because I'm trying to chill. And then I'm like, what do I do? Well, let me eat a butt ton of food to try to like soothe my feelings because I'm not doing other things, which I'm also in the process of working on. So I wouldn't say that it's like a huge problem. I did actually, like I brought it up to my therapist I'm like, just like numbing out and dealing with that more so than it has been in years and years and years. And so that's been a struggle and a challenge. And like, the thing is like, I'm in such a different place now where I understand what I'm doing. I know the headspace that I'm in. It's just like, I wanted to go into a binge, the other weekend, and like, it was just like an emotional day. And I'm like, I just wanted to like eat and numb out. And I'm like, no, go for a hike, get outside, just try to like distract myself from it. So I did. And I went for a hike and got outside, and it was beautiful and all these things. And like, it just did not satiate that itch I needed to scratch. And so I'm like, I tried to avoid it, and I still like just came home and just went into a binge. And I was doing the whole time, and it's just like, I don't want to do this. Like, this is just, I feel like going through so much change that it's like, it's scary because you're like, it's so out of, comfort zones. And it feels like this older version of me is like scared of like, oh my God, I don't know how to like operate in this whole new world of all these new things. And you're trying to like be slower and have more peace and more chill. And it's just like, it just bubbles over and like, it takes over. Like, no, like, I'm like, not going to let go of you. Like it's wild. And if you've ever dealt with binge eating, like, you just know, it just takes over you. It's just something that like, I don't know, you go into like a frenzy. Yeah. Not that I didn't feel like super frenzied in these like binges that I've had recently. It's just basically of like the feelings and the emotions are so overwhelming that I don't know how else to make them go away. Like going for a run or going for a hike or doing something is not enough to take care of these emotions that hurt too much to sit in. And so then I'm going to food to be like, I know the old standby here. Love me some food. The food's going to take it away. And it does. And that's what sucks. And that's what makes it hard because it's like, it works. It works a little too good, but I'm not beating myself up at all afterwards. Like I have in the past. It's just kind of like, I know I'm like, if that's what I got to do to take care of myself right now, then like good for me. Like I'm trying other avenues of healthy things to suppress it, and it's not working. So if this is what I have to do in this moment, that's fine. I understand what's happening. So I'm definitely not being mean to myself through it. And I'm obviously like publicly talking about it on this podcast that people listen to, and putting my personal stuff out there. So, and I just also want to say, like, if this is something you're going through, and God, I mean, I've been on this journey forever, and I'm like not saying this to discourage you at all. Not at all, like not even a little bit. It's just like, this stuff is hard, and give yourself some grace. Like, oh my God, it's so hard. And it's like, you can do all the right things. You can be like me and lose over 100 pounds and become a personal trainer and have a health and wellness podcast and do all the things. And it's like, well, you're still going to deal with it. You know what I mean? It doesn't make it all go away. It doesn't make, all your problems like poof away. And all of a sudden, like you're this again, like fake fitness influencer on Instagram that doesn't have any problems. They change and you handle it differently. And so it's like, yeah, like going through some really hard, stressful life changes. This totally makes sense to have like to go through this. And I'm like, man, am I handling it just a billion times better than I ever have in my life. And like, that's the win. The win isn't to make it go away. The win is I understand myself, and I'm kind to myself, and I'm doing the best that I can. And I know some solutions, and I'm working on it, and I'm okay to talk about it out loud. And I'm not just bottling it in and being super ashamed of it, because that just makes it worse. So, and I just feel like it feels like such a like shameful, hard thing to binge and, or to do any sort of disordered eating. Like it just, I don't know. It like, if you deal with it, then you know what I'm talking about. And it's a feeling. So to be able to, and it's hard to like talk about, unless you got a crew of people that talk about those things. It's so hard. And I'm so lucky that I have so many amazing friends and people, and I mean, that I feel comfortable enough to talk about it on a podcast. But, like before, when I was dealing with this really bad for such a long time, like there was nobody I talked to about it. I mean, I was secret eating, and my husband at the time, he had no idea. I was like hiding all the trash. Like he had no idea I was dealing with any of this. They felt like I was so alone. It was so shameful. There was nobody I could talk to. I didn't even really understand what was going on. Like I didn't associate binge eating with what I was doing. I just thought like, I just can't control myself. I just like love food. But by the way, also just through this podcast, I've learned like what binge eating disorder is like when you're doing that like every night, like multiple times a week. And like, so that's like where it's like, it's a disorder, versus that you just like overeat sometimes, which don't we all? So, I mean, there's different levels of it. And hey, I'm not judging you, but it's just like, if you needed to like have some understandings of it, definitely like reach out for help. I did not, for a very long time. And I mean, I've only been in therapy since 2020, which I really should have been in therapy my whole life. But I also find it incredibly helpful. And that's where, I told my therapist, I'm like, I went into a binge. I tried to go for a hike first, and this is what I was going through, and this is what I was feeling, and this is what happened. And, she's just like, I'm so happy that you went for a hike and you did something that you love and you tried to take care of, like, you just like, you were trying to give myself a hug that way. You know what I mean? Before I just went into this thing that I know has harmed me in the past. But it's still how I'm dealing with emotions and how do I deal with that sort of stuff better, which is, all of the self-help crap that I like. So, yeah, but it's definitely interesting, and yeah, but I don't feel bad about it. It's weird to say it. Like I do, but I don't. Like I don't want it to happen. I want to be in a better headspace, and I'm working on it. So, and I'm doing things to get myself into a better headspace, but I don't hate myself for it. And I also feel like, oh, I need to counteract this binging with dieting. Like, oh, I've been binging. Oh, my clothes aren't fitting good. Time to go on a diet and like lose the damage that you've done. I don't feel that way. And I feel like that's really healthy for me in this moment. I feel like it's what I want to do is like, I want to do stuff I like. I like go running outside and listening to this podcast. So do that. I want to have a gym community and I want to lift weights and feel strong because I like doing that and that gives me joy. So I want to do that. Like, I'm not doing that with the intention of like, I got to beat myself up now because I've been overeating and I've been binging. So you got to lose weight, Amanda. And it's totally, again, like I'm just explaining my story. I don't want somebody to like hear me say this and like take things personal or think that I'm like attacking any sort of behavior at all. I know everybody's just like very sensitive and I'm like not trying to like be insensitive at all to anybody where they're at. Cause this is a sensitive topic, but like, this is just where I'm at in my headspace is, right now. And that feels good for me to be in a space where I don't feel like I have to scream at myself to lose weight because I'm doing something that is like essentially making me gain weight. So I don't know. Life is interesting. Like all these ebbs and flows, like it is not linear at all. I mean, it's just like, it's forever going to be a struggle, but I'm choosing to learn from the struggle right now instead of being mad at myself and beat myself up and try to change it. I'm definitely trying to, just with life in general, flow with the current a little bit more rather than try to bend the river with my will, which is hard for me as a control freak and a person that works too much. But I'm trying to do that. That's where I'm trying to be more peaceful. And that's where it's like, this is what I'm doing. This is how I'm feeling. This is how this is like presenting itself. This is what I'm dealing with in life. I'm going to flow with it. And I'm not going to try to jerk it around and make it be exactly what I want it to be. Like, this is what it is. What am I learning from this? What can I take away from this? And how can I make my life feel better from this? So that's the headspace that I'm in with all of that. But on a completely also just out of nowhere topic, I did try talking about food. I didn't binge with this, but like this just popped in my head like thinking about food because I love food. That I saw a trend where people were like whipping cottage cheese and putting it on toast. That's pretty legit. I enjoy, like, as long as you eat it right away and it doesn't get all like soggy, that seems like it could be weird, but I really like dug it, dude. So like, I did get gluten-free bread. So there's points for me there, even though it is hella expensive. Oh my God. And it's tiny. What? Anyway, took my tiny little slice of like super expensive gluten-free bread and whipped up some cottage cheese, put it on there. And then I put like, again, a bougie city. Like I can't afford a house, but I can afford the heirloom tomatoes. Sliced it like one of those bad boys up because I wanted it to look fancy because I was going to put it on Instagram. And then after I did it, I'm like, I don't feel like taking a picture of this. And then I didn't. So talking about like the things that I do that I like don't put on the internet, where I'm like, I'm going to make this and I'm going to put the cottage cheese on it and it's going to have the pretty heirloom tomato and I put my flake salt on there. And it was beautiful. I'm like, oh, this looks good. And then I'm like, I want to eat this. I don't want to take a picture of it and put it on Instagram. It's just going in the face hole right now, but it was good. So do recommend. So I mean, I love avocado toast. I'm a millennial, so duh. But I do like the cottage cheese, gives you more protein, although I'm not supposed to eat dairy either. So see, like I got points for the gluten-free bread and then I just like minused them out by eating the dairy. But I don't know, man. I have such a hard time with that. Like, it's like, do I want to feel like crap or do I want to love my life? I feel like I can't, like, it's like I'm going to feel like crap, but I like love eating cheese and gluten. But it's like, but I don't eat the cheese and gluten. I feel really good, but like life just like isn't as much fun. The struggle, the first world struggle that it is. But yeah, so that's what's going on with me in this moment of April 2023. Thank you for listening to, or you're interested in what's going on in my crazy ass life. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I'm sure there is, and I'm just not thinking of it. I'd also like to get a motorcycle. I think that'd be cool. Also, like, help me, I'm poor, but I want a motorcycle. I think that would be badass to just be like this like bad bitch that rides around on my motorcycle. I could work at the nature center. Like I work outside and I'm on a motorcycle. Don't mess with me. Yeah, that's just a bit of thought. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, that's it, I guess. Can you tell that I like don't plan these out in advance? I just like wing it. I've just been listening to a half-hour monologue of me like dumping like the crap that's been rolling around in my brain of what's been going on. But I do appreciate you listening. I really appreciate it so much. And I also find it interesting. I've had somebody that's been giving me updates. Oh my God, that has told me that she's been listening to my podcast. She found it and she's been listening since like episode 1 and like going through, and she's like in episode like 400s right now. And I'm like, girl, you don't even know how messed up I get from there. How much my life is just like, like I was so like health and wellness and weight loss focused on this podcast for so long. And then I'm like, hey, let me talk about forest bathing and all the other crap that I'm interested in. I'm like, let me quit my job and my marriage and all this other crazy shit. Oh, so whenever you finally catch up to this, like, I don't know in how many months you're going to be like, if you're still here, thank you for listening. Oh my God. And for everybody else that's been along for this ride, oh, I can't even tell you how much I appreciate you. Oh, that is just amazing. And I really hope that you enjoy this podcast. I've been really struggling too. Another honesty piece of like, should I shut this thing down? Of just like, do I change things? Where do I go with this? Do I want to keep doing this? I'm at over 800 episodes. I've been doing it over 5 years. Is it time to do something different? I don't know. That's just where my head's at. So if you're just like, oh my God, don't do that. Let me know. Like, honestly, like, let me know, because I'm like, it's just me over here rolling around in my own head. And like, it's just like, you don't see who's listening and you don't know who's all listening. And you're just like, not that I'm like, give me compliments and tell me how much I impact you. Like, I'm not asking you to do that as just like a reminder of why I'm doing this, I guess, other than just for me and you know, that it's helpful, which is honestly the reason I do it, is just want to be helpful. So, if you're just like, yo, don't shut this down. You can always tell me on Instagram. You can pound this, email me, Amanda@AmandaValentineBites.com, or Venmo me at Ms. Valentine. I'm kidding, not kidding, but kidding. Yeah, but that's been something too of like, oh, should I rebrand? Should I change the way I do things? Should I change topics of conversation, or should I just not even do it at all? I've played around with bringing back, I had a Patreon for a while called Pound Town. I've thought about bringing Pound Town back as a dating podcast. Thoughts on that? I don't know. That's where it's like, man, just talk about like completely like snow globing your life, of just picking it up and just shaking the hell out of it. And kind of like, I'm just rebuilding. I'm like rebuilding my whole life. And that's where I'm at right now. And this is where I'm at with everything. So that's just brutal honesty. I'm trying to figure it out and do the best that I can. But I will say, through the health and wellness journey, I wouldn't be able to do any of this without taking care of myself and my own health. And I continue to do that the very best that I can. And when I beat myself up, I'm like, hey, Amanda from 2011 sure as hell wouldn't be trying to do Couch to 5K again. Like, I wouldn't be like exercising. I wouldn't be walking. I wouldn't be eating clean eats. I tell myself, I'm like, oh, like I've like lost all this spark and all of like my love for all of this stuff. And I'm like, no, you haven't. Like, how much of this is still super important to me and gives me joy? So I don't know. There is a look into my crazy brain. So that's kind of where I'm at with all of that. I don't know. Is that a bad note to end on? God. I didn't mean to be such a bummer. Jeez. I'm not in a sad mood, I promise. But yeah, I said all that to say, like, yeah, I appreciate you. Jeez. What a mess. Oh my God. Anyway, I am going to go watch Succession now. That show is awesome. Yeah, anyway. So that's what I'm going to go do now. I'm going to go get in my jammies, lay on the couch and watch Succession. That's what's happening with me. Hope you have a fantastic day, night, whatever you're doing, whenever you're listening to this. Appreciate you so much. I'll talk to you later.
AmandaValentineBites.com